Hey Trailblazers, we're just 1 week away from patch 1.4 and Jingliu, and I'm super excited. In my last video about patch 1.4, I talked about the value of Jingliu and Topaz, and came to a conclusion that they're both somewhat skippable if you don't need more damage dealers. Since then, we've learned about their entire banner and what 4 stars are on them, and this may change your pull strategy. Depending on your situation, you might want to pull for the 4 stars even if you don't need the banner 5 stars. We also learned that Seele is going to get a rerun during Topaz's banner, so I'll talk about that as well. First off, let's talk about Jingliu's banner. Alongside the Ice Queen, we have Tingyun, Qinche, and Sampo. I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is the best banner value we've ever seen. Tingyun is the best 4-star support, and some would argue that she is as good as Bronya, who is a 5-star. QQ is the best 4-star damage dealer, and there's a joke that E6 QQ is better than Seele. Sampo is pretty good as well, but nothing special, and it doesn't matter, because Tingyun and QQ are so good. What's more is that QQ and Tingyun both get much better with Eidolons, especially QQ, who you want to get to Eidolon 4. So overall, this banner is pretty much a must pull, even if you don't want to get Jingliu. Next, we have Topaz's banner, which includes Luca, Susheng, and the new character Guinaifen. Luca and Susheng are both average in terms of power level, however they bring down the ban value for 2 reasons. The first is that they're very similar characters. They're both single target specialists who are good at breaking physical weak enemies. You only really need just one of them in your roster, so depending on which one you decide to build, the other one is extra. The second reason is that single target damage is not as good as AoE against the current fight designs. We have a lot of 2 boss stages or stages with a lot of minions. That's why Pela is so much more popular than Luca, even though both of them can boost the team's damage and dispel buffs. Guinaifen brings some banner value, but not a lot. She's a Fire Nihility character that applies fire dots and a damage amplifier on burning enemies. She has synergy with Kafka against fire weak enemies. Her damage amplifier is applied after the enemy has taken burn damage, so you have to time your attacks to take advantage of that. If Jingliu's banner value is a 5 out of 5, Topaz's banner value is unfortunately just a 2 out of 5. Let's say you decide to pull on a banner for its 4 stars, but you don't want the 5-star. How should you go about doing this? The most important thing to do is to keep track of your pity counter and be cognizant of how far you are away from soft pity at 75. You should feel very comfortable pulling up to 40 pity. If you happen to accidentally pull a 5-star, you're getting a 5-star character at a huge discount. It's actually something to be very happy about. I would love to get a 5-star at 35 pity. Let's say you don't get the 4 stars you want by 40 pity. Should you continue? At this point, you should consider if the 5-star character improves your account. If the value is low to you, then stop. If you don't mind getting the banner 5-star, then you should pull up to 60 pity. At this point, you're getting close to soft pity, and if you pull a 5-star, it's no longer much of a discount. If you really like the 5-star, but just weren't planning on getting him or her, then going to 70 pity is okay. After that, stop. Please stop at 70 pity because you're playing with fire at this point. So if you want a banner 4-star, but not the 5-star, I recommend pulling up to 40 or 60 pity and then stopping. Lastly, let's talk about Seele's rerun. I think Hoyoverse put her with Topaz because Topaz is a niche character that might not have broad appeal, so they wanted to pair her with a more flexible rerun character. From what I read, the rerun banner shares the same pity counter with the main banner, so keep that in mind. If you are 10 away from soft pity for Topaz, you are also 10 away from soft pity for Seele. If you don't have Seele, should you pull for her? My answer is actually no for most players. We know that she's very strong, and she's the second best single target damage dealer in the game. I don't recommend her for 3 reasons. The first is that she requires heavy investment to reach her potential. You have to gear her up enough to reliably one-shot enemies and activate Resurgence. In this MOC with the Trotters, if your Seele cannot one-shot the Trotters, her clear speed is not impressive. The second reason is that QQ is a very competitive alternative to Seele if you just want quantum coverage. QQ's damage is even better than Seele in some AoE scenarios. The third reason is that the upcoming patches are not going to be designed to specifically favor Seele to give you the feeling of using an overpowered new character. Patch 1.4 will favor fire and ice carries because of Topaz and Jingliu. Patch 1.5 will favor physical AoE damage because of Argenti. Seele will still do well, but the new banner characters will have an easier time and be better in the upcoming meta. There are also reasons to pull for Seele. Her extra turn mechanic with Resurgence is unique and future-proof. There are no other characters that take as many turns as Seele. She is also the best recipient of buffs from her allies. Resurgence does not count as an extra turn, so buffs that have one turn remaining can be used multiple times by her. This makes Seele a great partner for any future Harmony character. If you have the resources to build her up, and you want a future-proof character, then Seele is a great choice to pull. To wrap up this video, pull for Ting Yun and QQ on Jingliu's banner, and Seele is a good pull if you have the resources and you want someone who is very future-proof. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.